اتفضل يا استاذ محمد.
نبدأ؟
اتفضل، توكل على الله.
طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. Good evening everyone. Okay, today we have a lecture about grammar, and we will start inshallah about tenses. We will talk about tenses today, and as you know we have present tenses, and as you can see me now on my screen. Yani I want you, if you please, if you have any question or any inquiries about anything, you can write it in the chat box. Okay. Now we have the present tenses. We will talk about the present simple, present progressive, present perfect, and the present perfect progressive. And as you know, you can notice some Arabic words to help you understand what will I explain. For the present simple, let's start with the present simple tense. This is the name of the tense, present simple tense. And with each tense, we have to know the usage of each tense. You have to know the form of each one. You have to know the tense markers or the keywords for each one. And then finally, we have some examples for the rule itself. Okay? Let's start about talking about the usage of the present simple tense. As you know, in the Arabic words, we can use the present simple tense to talk about habits, facts, daily routine, and if we wanted to give an example about each one, who can give us example to express a habit in the present? Anyone is ready? I want an example to express a habit. I'll give you 1 minute. A habit. Okay, to save our time, I can tell you that we can express a habit in the present by saying that I brush my teeth before going to bed every day. So this is my habit, which I do, which I always do every day before sleeping or before going to bed. The next usage is fact. How can we express facts by using the present simple tense? When we say, for example, if we boil water, or we can say water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. So this is a fact. And when we talk about facts, we talk about something which you did in the past, you can do now, you will do in the future, you have the same result. So this is what we call a fact. The facts like what I have just said, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Okay? When we say that the sun comes from the east, all these examples for facts. And finally, we have the daily routine. A daily routine, for example, when I say I go to school every day, I go to school at 7 a.m. every day. So again, the present simple expresses habits, expresses facts, and expresses a daily routine. Let's move to the next part, which is the form. How can we identify, or how can we know the present simple tense? The present simple tense has two forms or two shapes. The base form of the verb, this is number one, and the verb after s, and sometimes we can add es or ies. Okay? With the group which have the base form of the verb, we use the base form of the verb when the subject is I, we, you, they, and with plural nouns. More than one in English is considered plural. For example, when I say I play, we sleep, you eat, they go, and so on. But if the subject is he, she, it, or any singular noun, do you know what is meant by singular? This word in Arabic. Any singular noun, or it, he, she, we can use the verb plus s. Sometimes we can use es. Who can tell us? But I want you to share with me, please. Who can tell us when should we add es to the verb? When we have he, she, it, or any singular noun. Okay, again, we can use a verb plus es when the verb ends in a certain letter or certain letters like CH, SCH, X, double S, O. If the verb ends in these letters, you can add ES, not S. But if the verb ends in Y and preceded by a consonant letter, you can change the Y into IES. So again, to sum it up, when you want to talk about the form of the present simple tense, you can talk about the base form of the verb or a verb plus S, and you can use the base form with I, we, you, they, plural nouns, and the verb plus S with he, she, it, or any singular noun. So here we talked about the name of the tense, we talked about the usage of the tense, we talked about the form of the tense, and let's move to the tense markers, okay, or the keywords for the present simple tense. We have always, usually, often, or sometimes we can call it often, sometimes, regularly, never, every day, every week, whatever. So we can call always, usually, often, sometimes, never. We can call them adverbs of frequency or frequency adverbs. Besides, we have every and some other words. To pay or to put in mind or to put them in your mind or to pay attention to these words and the other tense markers for each tense, these words are called the key words for each tense. And if you get them or if you identify them well, you can answer the question or the sentence perfectly. So we talked about the name, the usage, the form, the tense markers. Let's move here to answer some questions about the present simple tense. Question number 1. When you have a question like this, when we visit the library, we usually, as I told you, if you have a tense marker for the tense, you have to pay attention to it, you have to underline it, you have to identify it well to help you answer your question easily. Here, when I say when we visit the library, we studies, studying, studied, study. Which one? Who can tell us? Who can answer this question? Can we say studies? Here, you have to pay attention to the pronoun. You have to pay attention to the subject of the sentence. Here we have we. And with the subject, as I told you, when the subject or the pronoun is we, you, they, plural noun, you have to choose what? The base form or a verb plus S. When the subject is we choose, who can tell us? Plus S, plus ing. I think we didn't say anything about a verb plus ing or a verb plus ed. So here we can be confused between studies and the study. But if you are studying well, or if you get the knowledge of the form of the tense well, you can decide that with we choose what? We choose the infinitive, or we choose the base form of the verb. So we will choose a study. Okay. Let's move to the next one. When I say Ali, often, space, very early. Again, we have here the subject is Ali. Ali is what? Ali is a singular noun or a plural noun? I think it's singular. So when I have a singular noun and when I have a keyword for the present simple like the word often or often, I know that this is the present simple tense. The present simple tense, and we have a subject which is a singular noun. With singular nouns, we choose what? But to make it easy for you, when you have more than one or two choices, you can delete some. We can delete got up because got is past simple. We can delete getting. Okay, so we can choose from gets and get. As I told you, when the subject is singular noun, we can choose a verb plus S, or we can choose a base form of the verb or the infinitive. Who can tell us? No one? Okay. So as I told you, when the subject is singular, we choose a verb plus S. So the correct answer will be gets up. Ali often gets up very early. I think this is two easy questions or two simple questions to help you identify how can we choose the infinitive, how can we choose the verb plus s, and so on. But before moving to the next tense, which is present continuous, I want you to tell me how can we make the present simple tense negative, how can we make yes no questions, how can we form WH word questions in the present simple tense. Does anyone here? Can anyone answer my question? First, how can we make it negative? And for example, if I say Ali often gets up early, this sentence, how can we make it negative? How can we use not here? Because this part is not written here. Okay, so you can say Ali when you have a singular noun like Ali, or when you have he, she, it, you can use doesn't plus infinitive. So you can say Ali doesn't often get up very early. But if you have a sentence like this one, we visit the library. When we visit the library, we usually study. So here, because the subject is we, or you can say because the verb is in the base form or in the infinitive, you can use don't. You can say we, when we visit the library, we don't usually study. Okay, so the negative here by using the don't plus infinitive or doesn't plus infinitive. But if we want to make yes no questions in the present simple tense, we can use at the beginning do or does, then the subject, then the base form of the verb, then the rest of your question. For example, when I ask you, do you go to school every day? Do you? When I ask you, does Ahmed play football after school every day? So here we use do with the same group, I, we, you, they, and the plural nouns. And we use does with the same group, he, she, it, and the singular nouns. Now let's move to the present progressive tense. You can call it present progressive or present continuous, and this is the name in Arabic. The first thing about the present progressive is to know what is its usage. When should we use it? The present progressive, which is am, is, are, verb plus ing, this is the form of the verb, okay? It is used to express something which is happening now. When I ask you, what are we doing now? Someone will say that we are studying English now. We are revising our grammar lessons now. So we are talking about what is happening now, or what is happening at the time of speaking. This is, by the way, one of its usages, because it has more than one. So let's move to the form of the present progressive. The form, as I told you a short time ago, am, is, are, plus verb plus ing. And you should put in mind that we use am with I if we have he, she, it, or any singular noun we use as. If the subject is we, you, they, plural noun, we use are. So to sum it up, to make it short or simple, the present progressive consists of am, is, are, plus verb plus ing, or the gerund. Now let's move to the tense markers for the present progressive. The tense markers for the present progressive now, or you can say at the moment, today, tonight, these days. But if we want to talk about today, tonight, these days, we are talking about something different, about something which is happening now. When we use today, tonight, or these days, we are talking about what we call temporary actions. And temporary means something which doesn't last for a long time. We are not talking about permanent situations. Here, we are talking about temporary situations. And when I say temporary situations, I mean, as I told you, something which doesn't last for a long time. For example, when I say, I work in Jeddah, okay, my job as a teacher is in Jeddah. But these days or today, or you can say this week I am working in Riyadh. So my permanent job or my permanent work is in Jeddah. But for a temporary time or for this temporary situation, I said I am working in Riyadh today or these days or this week. Okay, so this is another usage for the present progressive tense, which is temporary situations. Also, we can use the present progressive to talk about developing or changing situations. Like when I say the prices of computers are getting cheaper and cheaper. And we can use it to express future, but we will talk about future in detail after that. Okay? So these are the tense markers for the present progressive. Let's move to the exercise part. Question number 3. When I say Adam space a book now, who can tell me what is the tense markers for this sentence? Someone is saying now? Okay, good job. Now is a keyword for the present progressive. So here, I know or I knew that. The tense which I will use is present progressive. And the form of the present progressive is a verb plus S? Of course not, because it's present simple. This is present simple. Reading, this is a gerund without verb to be, without am, is, are. We can't choose it. Is reads is not correct, is not a tense. When we use is and the verb plus S, it's not a tense. So the correct answer will be Adam is reading a book now. Okay, this is the first one for the present progressive. Question number 4, with them at 8 o'clock tonight. Here, if someone pays attention or think for a moment, he will say tonight. Now we are talking about this action in the afternoon or in the morning maybe. But when I say tonight, in the morning or in the afternoon, I mean what? I mean the present? Of course not. I mean the past? Of course not. So here I mean what? The future, as I told you, because sometimes you use am, is, are, ing, the present progressive, to talk about the future. But which kind of future here? When we use the present progressive to talk about the future, we are talking about the future which you have made all the arrangements for it. We have prepared everything for it to happen in the future. Or you can use it with the personal meetings or the personal arrangements. So here, the present progressive here is used to express future which we have made all the arrangements for it. So let's choose one. Meet. Of course, not meet is not present progressive, it's present simple. Are meet, we don't have a tense which is are, is, am plus infinitive. Meets the last one, present simple. So A and D, present simple, and we can't choose B, and the correct answer is are meeting. This is a present progressive. Okay. Now let's move to another present tense, and this is the most important one. They are all important, but this is the most important one because you may encounter or face so many questions about it. It's called present perfect. Present perfect, this is the name in Arabic, and this is the usage. The usage of the present perfect, which is have or has plus V3, or you can say past participle. We are talking about something which began in the past. Something began in the past and is still happening now. Or you can say something which had just happened. Something happened a short time ago. For example, when I say I have lived in Jeddah for 10 years. What does this mean? When I say I have lived in Jeddah for 10 years. This means what? I started living in Jeddah 10 years ago. This happened in the past. Happened in the past. And now I still living, or I am still living in Jeddah. And may continue to the future to be living in Jeddah in the future. So this is the very important usage for the present perfect tense. Something which happened or started in the past is still happening now and may continue to the future. What about something which happened a short time ago? When I say, for example, my roommate has just come. My friend has just finished his degree. Something which happened or finished a short time ago. So this is the usage for the present perfect tense. Let's move to the form of the present perfect tense. As I told you, the form of the present perfect is have or has plus V3. V3 is the past participle, and as you know, each verb has how many forms? Each verb has 3, and sometimes you can say 4 forms. The first one is the base form, the second one is the past simple, the third is V3 as I told you, and the fourth shape for the verb is the gerund or the verb plus ing. So again, the present perfect we are talking about have or has plus V3, but you have to know that we use have with I, we, you, they, and the plural nouns. But you should use has with he, she, it, or any singular noun. For example, when I say I have finished my homework, okay, I can say he has just slept, for example. Now let's move to the tense markers for the present perfect tense. I think you have to memorize, I think you have to put in mind the keywords for each tense in order not to be confused between them. So here, the present perfect tense markers or keywords are already, lately, yet, so far, ever, just. If you wanted to say how many times you can talk about, or you can say once, twice, 3 times, and so on. But here you have to put in mind that you should use them perfectly. How can we use already? Where should we put it? Anyone there? Any help? How can we use already? Where should we put already in the present perfect tense? Okay, we can put already after has or have here in this place. We can put it here after have or has, and after it we can find the V3 or past participle. For example, when I say I have already done my homework, or you can put it at the end of the sentence. You can say I have done my homework already. So you can put already between have and V3 in this place, or you can put it at the end of the sentence. What about lately, which means recently? Lately, recently, you can put them at the end of the sentence. For example, I have bought a new laptop lately or recently. Yet is put at the end of negative sentences and in questions, at the end of questions. When I ask you, have you finished yet? No, I haven't finished yet. So you can put it at the end of questions and at the end of negative sentences. So far, which means up till now, we use it at the end of the sentence. In most cases, we use it at the end of the sentence. When I say, for example, I have read 3 books so far, or up till now. Up till now means so far. Ever, as you know, is used in questions, and we sometimes use it in specific sentences. But let's talk how can we use it in questions. When I ask you, have you ever traveled to America? Have you ever done anything useful? So ever is used in questions in the present simple, in the present perfect tense, and sometimes in the present simple tense. Sometimes you can use ever in superlative or comparative sentences. When I say this book is the most interesting book I have ever read. The most interesting. When I say the most interesting means what? Means a comparative or superlative degree. When I say the most and a long adjective, or when I say the best, for example, this what we call the superlative degree. So we can use it in the superlative degree sentences, and we can use it in questions. Just its places here between have and has and V3. I have just come. He has just finished his homework. Okay. When we want to talk about the number of times, I can say, for example, I have gone to America twice or 3 times. Or when you want to talk about the quantities or numbers, you can say, I have drunk 3 cups of tea or 3 coffees, for example. So to sum up, the present perfect simple tense, the present perfect, you can call it present perfect or present perfect simple tense, have or has plus V3. We can use it with already, lately, yet, so far, ever, never. We have also never, just. And if you want to talk about the times, you can use once, twice, or any times. We are talking about something happened or started in the past and is still happening now. Or you can use it to talk about something happened in the hot past. You can say happened in the hot past, or something happened a short time ago and has a result visible or seen in the present. For example, when I say Ahmed is tired, I said is. I didn't say was. Ahmed is tired. Why Ahmed is tired? Ahmed is tired because he has run for 3 hours. He has run, pay attention to me. He has run for 3 hours. I use the present perfect simple tense to talk about action happened in the hot past and has a visible or a seen result in the present. Okay, this is another usage for this tense. Let's move to the question part. Question number 5. She her work yet. Again, the keyword is yet. So yet is used with didn't finish. No, this is past simple. Yet is used with doesn't finish. As I told you, this is present simple or negative present simple. Isn't finishing, the last one is present progressive or present continuous. So the correct answer will be hasn't finished. So the skill of excluding the wrong ones or the incorrect answers will help you to choose the correct answer easily. So she hasn't finished her work yet. Question number 6. It's for 3 hours and it hasn't stopped yet. Again, we have yet. Yet, present perfect, hasn't stopped. I think this is for the present perfect continuous. Okay, let's explain it first and we will come later to this question. But before moving to the present perfect continuous or the present perfect progressive, this is a timeline which shows how can we choose or how can we use the present perfect simple. In this timeline or in this photograph, you have in the middle, you have the year. For example, you can imagine it 2021. This is the present time. Okay, and he said, I have lived in Cairo for 10 years. The meaning is he started living in 2011. Between 2011 and 2021, I think it's 10 years. Okay, so he started in 2011. This happened when in the past, and this time was 10 years. And in 2021, he is still living in this place. And as I told you, it may continue to the future. He will continue living in Cairo in the future. So this is for more illustration or for more explaining for the usage of the present perfect tense. Here we will move to a very important part, the difference between for and since. This is the meaning in Arabic. Okay, this is the meaning of since and this is the meaning of for. I don't want you to memorize. I want you to understand what comes after for and what comes after since. If you put in mind that what comes after for is a duration, a period of time, a specific period of time, you can use for. But if you have a beginning or what you have called the beginning, or what represents a beginning, you can use since. For example, when I say I haven't seen my best friend for 3 years, I haven't seen or I haven't met my best friend for 3 years. I have lived in this city for 7 months or 10 months. Okay, 5 days, 8 days, 3 hours, several, all over. These are what we call a whole period of time. So if you have a whole period of time, a total, you can say total. If you have a total period of time, use for. But if you have what represents the beginning or the start of the action or the verb, use since. For example, 20, 20, 20, 25. For example, to make it easy for you, when I say I have lived in Cairo since 2020, I started living in Cairo in 2020 or in 2025. Since October, since September, since August, since Sunday, since 9 o'clock 4 p.m., since last week, since the beginning of this month, for example. Okay, so this is the difference, or the big difference between since and for. Here we have a whole period, and here we have, or there we have, the beginning or the start. Let's move to the next tense. The next tense is present perfect progressive. And as I told you, to differentiate between them, to make it easy to identify them, you can call the first one present perfect simple. Present perfect, the previous one, or the last one. Present perfect simple. Has, have, plus past participle, or V3. But now this is present perfect progressive, or present perfect continuous. This is the name. As you can see in the Arabic words, this tense is used to talk about something happened in the past and is still happening or hasn't finished yet. But you have to pay attention that the present perfect progressive emphasizes on the duration, emphasizes on the time that the action or the verb takes. Okay? For example, again, we can say I have been living in Jeddah 14 years. You can say I have been living, and you can say I have lived. Both are correct. But there is a slight difference between them in this usage, which we call the state verbs or the stative verbs. The state verbs or the stative verbs are what? We have two kinds of verbs. We have state verbs and we have action ones. What is the difference between them? The difference between the state verbs and the action verbs. When I say state verbs, I'm talking about verbs which don't have action, don't have movement. Like what? Like need, like know, like the verb think, like the verb understand, like the verb understand. Okay? So these verbs, we can't act them, we can't act think, we can't do them. So we call them state verbs. Okay? And the other kind of verbs is called, or are called, action verbs. So here, with the present perfect progressive, we can't use it with the state verbs. Yani, for example, I can't say I have been knowing Ahmed for 10 years. It's incorrect to say I have been knowing someone. So here you can use the present perfect simple. You can say I have known him. This is the correct one. So the verbs or the state verbs which cannot be used in the present perfect progressive can be used in the present perfect simple. Okay? This is in order not to be confused between them, between the present perfect simple and the present perfect progressive. Now let's move to the form of the present perfect progressive. Here you can use have been plus ing or has been plus ing. And as we told you in the present perfect simple, we use have with I, we, you, they, and with plural nouns. And has is used with he, she, it, and with singular nouns. The tense markers, or the most important or the most famous tense markers for this tense, are for and since, so they are common. They can be used for the present simple tense, the present perfect simple, and the present perfect progressive. Let's move to the exercise part. Question number 6. When I say it for 3 hours and it hasn't stopped yet, and this is another difference between the present perfect and the present perfect progressive. Here with the present perfect progressive, we are talking about which started in the past and is still happening and hasn't finished yet. And sometimes we have clause or some hints to say that the verb hasn't stopped yet. Clause or hints which mean the verb is still happening, okay, now or right now. So here, when we can choose one from these answers, we have rained, it's a present perfect. Sir, we can choose have rained, we can choose present perfect because we have yet. I will tell you that pay attention. It's it. When the subject is it, you can't choose it with have. Okay, so have rained is incorrect. What about is raining? Is raining present progressive? We can't choose it with yet. The last one was raining. Was raining is another tense with the past tenses, which is called past progressive. So we can't choose past here with yet. So the correct answer is has been raining. Okay, let's move again to the rest of tenses. At this part, we have finished here the present tenses, and they were present simple tense, present progressive, present perfect, and the present perfect progressive. These are the present tenses. Now let's move to the past tenses. In the past tenses, we will explain past simple, past progressive, and the past perfect. Let's start with the past simple tense. The past simple tense, which is the second form or the second shape of the verb, or you can say V2, is used to talk about something which started and ended in the past. In the present progressive, in the present perfect, we said an action which started in the past but is still happening or has an effect or result in the present. But here with the past simple, the verb which happened in the past simple, it has no relationship with the present or what is happening now. So the past simple talks about something or an action which started and ended in the past. Again, the form of the past simple. When I ask you what is the form of the past simple tense, someone will tell me that the past simple is a second form, is a second shape of the verb. As I told you, we have 3 or 4 forms of the verb. The first one is the infinitive. The second one, if you can remember it, the second one is called past simple tense. Okay, so it's the second form or V2. But you have to put in mind that we have 2 kinds of the second form of the verb. We have what we call regular verbs and irregular ones. When I say regular, they have a rule to follow. They have a rule to apply to get it. For example, when I say they arrived, the verb arrive here as this example, okay? The verb arrive here is a regular verb and it ends in E. So we put D or we added D. But if you have a verb like cook, for example, C-O-O-K, when you want to change it into past because it's a regular verb, you can add ed, cooked. Okay? So this is for regular verbs. You can add ed or d at the end of the verb. But the irregular ones must be learned by heart, must be memorized. This is for irregular verbs like go, went, drive, drove, eat, ate, run, ran, and so on. So the past simple tense, the second form of the verb, we have either a regular verb or irregular verb. The tense markers for the past simple are yesterday, last, we can say last week, last month, last year, but we can't say last day. Why? Because last day is yesterday. Okay, ago and in and any date or any year in the past. But before moving to the questions, I want one of you to tell me how can we make the sentence or how can we make the past simple negative? How can we make it negative? The past simple, for example, this one. When I say they arrived yesterday, how can we make it negative? How can we use not here? We can say what? We can use did not. We can say didn't. We can say didn't arrive. But when you use didn't or don't or doesn't, you should use the base form after it. You should use the infinitive after it. So you can say they didn't arrive yesterday. So the negative for the past simple tense is by using didn't or did not plus infinitive. But when we want to form yes no questions, how can we form yes no questions in the past simple tense? I think it's very easy. You can start with did, then subject, then infinitive, then the rest of your sentence. For example, did you go to school yesterday? Did you eat fruit last week? Did you sleep early last night? And so on. And the answer will be yes, I did, or no, I didn't. So this is how to make yes no questions in the present in the past simple tense. Okay, let's move to the question part for or about the past simple tense. I think you noticed this one from the other part of explaining the tense, the yesterday morning, arrive, arrived, are arriving, or were arrived. Here we have yesterday, a tense marker for the past simple. So arrive is incorrect because it's a present simple. Are arriving, present progressive. Were arrived, this is past simple, but it's passive, past simple, passive. Here the sentence is active, not passive. So the correct answer will be arrived. They arrived yesterday morning. Okay, let's move to the next tense. The next tense is called past progressive, or you can say past continuous. And the usage of the past continuous is an action which was in progress or which was happening at a certain time in the past. The form is was, were, ing. For example, when I ask you, what were you doing at 7 p.m. yesterday? What were you doing at 7 p.m. yesterday? At this specific time, what were you busy doing? I can say I was watching TV. I was doing my homework. I was sleeping. I was helping my mom with the housework. So here I'm talking about an action which was happening at a specific time in the past, which was continuous or still happening or took a duration at a certain time in the past. So the past progressive was were ing. You should use was with he, she, it, and with singular nouns. Where is used with I, we, you, they, and for plural nouns. We use the past progressive with when and while. You can use when and while differently, or you can use them in so many ways. But before explaining how can we use when and how can we use while, I want to pay attention or to want you to pay attention that we can use the past progressive alone, or we can use it with the past simple tense. How can we use the past progressive alone? As I told you, when I asked you, what were you doing at 7 p.m. yesterday? I said, I was watching TV. I was watching. This is one tense, past progressive. Okay? But when I ask you, or when I wanted to talk about two actions and not one, here we have a different case. And here we have two choices, or we have two exceptions, or two things to talk about. What are they? When I wanted to say that two actions or two verbs were happening at the same time in the past, at a specific time. For example, when I say while, by using this word, while, My mom was cooking. My father was watching TV. Here, or in this sentence, my mom was cooking. This is action number one, was cooking, or verb number one, which was happening. The next one, or the second one, my father was watching. So here we have was cooking, was watching. How many verbs here? We have two actions, two verbs, which were happening at the same time at a specific time in the past. So when you wanted to talk about two actions which were happening at the same time or at a specific time in the past, use was, were, ing, past progressive. But when you have an action which was happening at a specific time in the past and another action interrupted it, another action stopped it, here we have a different case. Here we are talking about past progressive, an action which was happening at a specific time in the past, and the interrupting verb will be past simple. For example, we have a very funny and famous example for this case or for this rule. When I say, while I was studying yesterday evening, the lights went out. Was studying, past progressive, went out, past simple. So while you were studying at a specific time in the past and the lights went out, could you study? Could you continue studying at this specific time in the past? Of course not, because you want to see anything or you couldn't see anything. So here again, if you wanted to talk about an action which was in progress or continuous at a specific time in the past, and another action interrupted it, the one which was continuous, past continuous. The interrupting one, past simple. But when they were happening at the same time in the past, the two actions, past progressive, was, were, ing. This is a very important part for the past progressive with the past simple. Let's move to the question part. Question number 8. While he called me. This is what I told you, called, past simple. And here, after while, we should use past progressive. After while, we always, or in most cases, we use past progressive. So while I sleep, present simple, of course not. While I slept, past simple. We cannot use past simple after while, but we can use it after when. When or after when, you can use past simple or past progressive. Okay, but after a while, it's a must to use the past progressive. So slept is not correct, and is sleeping is present progressive is incorrect. So the correct answer is was sleeping. And here again, we are talking about an action which was happening while I was sleeping. This sleeping was happening in the past, and this calling interrupted the sleeping. Okay, so this is the interrupting verb, and this is a verb which was happening at a specific time in the past. This is another case. The next one will be past perfect. The past perfect tense. Here, the past perfect tense form is had plus V3. Again, you have to know well the forms or the shapes of the verb. Had plus V3 or had plus past participle, this is the past perfect tense. And here had can be used with all the pronouns with plural and singular nouns. So this is the form of the past perfect tense. What about the usage of the past perfect tense had plus V3? To talk about, he said an action happened before the other in the past, but I wanted to draw your attention to how can we use the past perfect alone. We can use the past perfect alone to talk about an action which completed before a certain time in the past. For example, when I say by 9 p.m. yesterday, by 9 p.m. yesterday, I had finished my project. I completed my project. I made it perfect, or I had made it perfect in the past. So you can use the past perfect alone in sentences like the one I have just said. by, and at any time in the past, any subject had plus past participle means something or an action which completed by the time of this action or by the time of this time. Okay, this is when we wanted to use the past perfect alone. But if you wanted to talk to actions that happened in the past, one before the other, again, I have two actions happened in the past, one before the other. The first one, for which happened one, should be put in the past perfect, which should be had plus V3. The second one should be put in the past simple tense. So if you are paying attention or following me, you can notice that we use the past simple with both the past progressive and the past perfect tense. But here again, when I wanted to say that we have two actions happened in the past, one before the other, the first which happened first must be past perfect. The next one or the second one must be past simple. Okay, for example, when I say first I did my homework yesterday or at any time in the past, I did my homework. Then I slept. So what happened first? I did my homework first or I slept first? I did my homework first. So the verb did or the verb do must be put in the past perfect by using any word or any connector or any conjunction for the past perfect. You can use, for example, after. After I had done my homework, the next one will be I slept. Then the second one, the verb sleep or slept must be put in the past simple tense. Again, because it's a very important part here, when you want to talk about two actions happened in the past, one before the other, the first one, number one, will be past perfect. Two will be past simple. Okay, this is this part in Arabic. Here, question number 9. I my work then. I went home. Finish, finishing, was finishing, had finished. When you have then, so you have sequence. Do you know what is meant by sequence? Sequence, yani we have steps. We have what happened first, then what happened after that. So here we picked out that we should use a past perfect tense because we have after, then we have went past simple. We are talking about two actions that happened in the past, one before the other. Number two is went. Went is what happened next. This is the action number two. So when we want to search for the action which happened first, we will talk about or we will search for the past perfect tense. Let's search for it. Finish, present simple or infinitive. Finishing, gerund. Was finishing, past progressive. But the correct answer is had finished. Okay, so here we are talking about two actions happened in the past, one before the other. So for today, we talked about present tenses and we talked about past tenses. And in order not to confuse you, we want to talk about future tenses for today. And inshallah, it will be continued with, I think, Mr. Muhammad Fuad will continue explaining it with you. But before finishing, I want you to pick out some questions from this PDF about the present and past tenses. Tomorrow, future, okay? Here, question number 11. When I say, when I go to King Saud University Library, I usually, who can remember? Usually is a keyword for which tense? Present simple, present progressive, past simple, or what? Again, usually, when I go, here I'm talking about present action. When I go to King Saud University Library, I usually, present simple, of course. So here, present simple, we said the present simple may be the base form of the verb or the infinitive or a verb plus S. So studied, past simple. Will study, future. I'm studying, present progressive. I'm talking about a permanent situation. I'm talking about a habit. I'm talking about routine. So here, study is the correct choice. Question number 12. We football 3 days ago. Here, where is the keyword or the tense marker for this sentence? Yes, the tense marker is ago. Ago is for what? Which tense? Ago, last, yesterday are for past simple. So play is incorrect, present simple. Have played, present perfect. Had play, we have no tense, which is had plus infinitive. This is incorrect. Okay, it's completely incorrect. So the correct answer will be played. Played, past simple. This one. Okay. Question number 13. An earthquake happened while I in my office. Again, while. While is a tense marker for, who can tell me? While is a tense marker for the present simple, for the past simple, for the present progressive, or for the past progressive? I think this is the best way to answer these questions. Again, while can't be used with present simple, can't be used with the past simple, can't be used with the present progressive. It is used with the past progressive tense. So while I was working in my office. Okay. Number 14. Mrs. Carter, English literature since 1995. She is a brilliant lecturer. Here, since. We said since for are used with two important tenses, present perfect simple and present perfect progressive. Taught, past simple, or taught past simple, was teaching past progressive, had been teaching past perfect progressive. We can use since with the past perfect progressive, but there is a big difference between the present perfect progressive and the past perfect progressive, which is when I'm talking about an action happened in the past or in the hot past or in the near past and the result is seen or visible in the present, so choose the present perfect progressive. How did you know that this result is visible or seen in the present? Because he said she is. Is refers to the present. So because we have is here, we have a mark here, or we have something which tells us the result is seen or visible in the present. So the correct choice will be has been teaching. But this tense had been teaching. This is what we call past perfect progressive, is used with something which happened in the past, but the result visible or was visible in the past. So if you said she was a brilliant lecturer, if you replaced is with was, you can choose had been teaching. The last question, number 15. Does everyone knew, know, known, knowing? I said after does, do, did, we use what? We use the second form of the past simple. We use V3 or the past participle. We use verb plus ing, or we use the base form of the verb. Yes, of course, we use the base form or the infinitive. After do, does, did, we use the infinitive. So the infinitive will be no. Does everyone know that the final exam will be on Thursday? Thank you for sharing, and thank you for your time, and inshallah to be continued with Mr. Muhammad Fuad.